All right, so number 38, another good practice question. Just like number 37, we're performing the indicated operations and simplifying. We are to assume that all variables represent positive real numbers. All right, so we've been given -7 times radical 80 plus 4 times radical 45 minus 5 times radical 20. All right, well, just like before, if we take a quick look at all of these radicals, well, 80 is not a perfect square, 45 is not a perfect square, 20 is not a perfect square. So we know we're going to be breaking each of these radicals up into good stuff, bad stuff. So let's go ahead and do that. So good stuff, bad stuff, plus 4, good stuff, bad stuff, minus 5, good stuff, bad stuff. All right, well, just like we were talking about, 80 is not a perfect square, but what is the largest perfect square that we can multiply by some other number to get to 80? Well, if you watch number 37, or you take a look at your power chart, your reference sheet, we can go ahead and take the perfect square 16 and multiply it by 5, and we'll get 80. All right, so we've taken care of our first term here. We've broken our radical down into good stuff, bad stuff. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next term, 4 times radical 45. Again, 45, not a perfect square, but is there a perfect square that we can multiply by some other number to get to 45? Well, if you said 9 times 5, then you are correct. 9 is a perfect square, and we can multiply it by 5 to get to 45. All right, last but not least, let's see. 20, not a perfect square, but is there a perfect square that we can multiply by some other number to get to 20? Well, sure thing. We can take 4, which is a perfect square, multiply it by 5, and we get 20. All right, so let's go ahead and clean this row up. And by clean it up, I mean let's go ahead and take each of the good radicals. Let's take what those square roots are out and multiply that by what's on the outside. So here we have -7, and radical 16 becomes 4. So when radical 16 comes out as a 4, it's going to be multiplied by what was originally there, that -7. And then we rewrite our garbage, that radical 5 rather, plus 4. And now what is the square root of 9? Well, 3. So we multiply 3 by 4, rewrite our garbage radical 5 minus 5. And now what does radical 4 come out as? A 2. So 2 times that 5, and then rewrite the garbage radical 5. All right, let's go through this. -7 times 4 is going to give us -28, and then rewrite our radical. Plus 4 times 3 gives us 12, and rewrite that radical. And -5 times 10 is going to, -5 times 2 is going to give us that -10, rewrite our radical. All right, so now let's see what we have here. -28 plus 12, well, that's going to give us -16. Minus 10 is going to give us -26, right? So here we're going to have -26 radical 5. All right, again, once we have the same radical, we can go ahead now and consider all of these like terms, and so we simply add those coefficients, those numbers in front of our radical. So again, -28 plus 12 gives us -16, -16 minus 10 gives us the -26, and so we arrive at our final answer, -26 times radical 5.